morning and welcome to the 21st AJ Bell Great Manchester Run. And what a weekend to be in this great city. After an all-Manchester FA Cup final yesterday at Wembley, the Red Half, I'm sure, still celebrating after that incredible win. And in the 30,000 people who'll take part today in a festival of running, I'm sure there'll be plenty of Reds and a few Blues as well. There's a 10K, a half marathon, we've got the elites, the wheelchairs, the minis, the juniors. In fact, it's the largest amount of entries we've seen in over a decade. It really is a fabulous festival of running. And over the next couple of hours or so, we'll be telling the stories of those incredible runners out there who've shown great courage in the face of adversity, who've gone out there and done it in spite of the barriers that they have faced. And along the way, we'll be showcasing the incredible heritage of this magnificent city.
It's a busy morning in Manchester.
It's a city with a splendid tradition.
What made Manchester unique was industry, under which Manchester grew to be the time, greatest city in the world.
Life is full of challenges, but if you can run and get through things, you're really setting a metaphor for life.
There'll be some sore legs this week in Manchester, I'm pretty sure, but lots of happy hearts.
I love the city. It was just an amazing atmosphere.
A memorable day in Manchester's history.
The centre of a new civilization. What Manchester thinks today, England thinks tomorrow.
Let's show Manchester what it's done properly.
It really is an incredible event. You can probably just see up behind me here, there's a really nice, there it is there, a really nice big black cloud that's looming over the start here, or the finish here, the start for us, of course, of this special festival of running. So we're hoping it holds off. But that spirit that you saw there over the years is really what unites the runners out there. They don't care about the weather. It's about running, the power of running. And this was really in evidence at the launch event a couple of weeks ago.
The power of running for me is blowing out the cobwebs, coming back and feeling great and refreshed.
The power of running for me is just the ability for it to change your mood. If you're in a bad mood, it can always make you feel better.
You know, it's a beautiful city. You know, there's a lot of people doing it for some absolutely phenomenal causes, and it's all about just trying to embrace the moment.
It was great last year, you know, running through town, you've got everyone cheering you on.
What do I like about running? The end. The power of running is to get you out and about, to get up and do something, and I think if you've got a target at the end of it, you're raising money for charity, so there's a cause behind it, but you've also got something to achieve as well.
It's just a personal challenge, really, to see what I can do. Hopefully it'll be a good way to say thank you to my physios for all the help they've given me.
The atmosphere is amazing, so I just wanted to be part of it and take part on the day.
The power of running, I think it's the spirit of it all, and you know, everyone coming together and doing a difficult thing for a good cause.
The power of running enables my 61-year-old non-running legs to get over the line and give back to the Christie.
For me, it's kind of like an escape from reality. It's a distraction from all the atrocities that took place in that night.
The power of running is everything for me.
The power of running means realising your dreams, and that's the real power. It's that mental power to say, yeah, I can do this, and then going out and doing it.
The power of running for me saved my life.
Well, there we go. Great views of the streets of Manchester, but you can see the rain just threatening at the moment. It's getting a little bit wet up here on the platform. We don't care though. I've got Gemma Atkinson with me. She's a hardy woman. She's not going to be bothered by a bit of rain.
You're up north. It's every day like this. This is our summer.
Now, anybody who follows you on social media will know how positive your coverage of sport and activity is, and it's mainly based though around the gym and powerlifting and and strength training.
Yeah.
So how's the running, Gemma?
Shocking. And I'm not even going to lie, I'm a terrible, I say terrible runner, I can run. I don't really enjoy it, so I am a bit nervous. I've tried to do as much training as possible, but like you say, I don't think I'm built for long distance.
Well, you see out here, you know, it's the great thing is all shapes and sizes and everybody with their own personal goals, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And you said you were just looking up there.
Quite emotional.
Yeah.
And it's what's sweet is you see people running, and when they get near the finish line, they'll hold hands or they'll fist pump. So yeah, it's always an emotional day, I think, because like you say, everyone's got their own reasons for running, their own personal reasons, and they're raising so much money for charity, so it's great.
Yeah, we should say that this is the same amount of entries, maybe just a bit more than 2016, so it's the most since then.
Wow.
And that year, 9 million was raised.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it really is an incredible amount of money that we're expecting to be raised over the course of the fundraising that's going on out there. Who are you running for today?
I am running for Bleakhall Animal Sanctuary, so it's a little sanctuary in Ramsbottom, so it's close to my heart, and yeah, going to hopefully raise lots of money for them.
So when things get a bit tough out there,
I think of the dogs and the cats. I saw a little dog before, he was going a bit wild barking, I thought he's going to spur me on. So,
and you're running alongside?
Mike Toolan's running with me from the radio. He's currently in the Hilton having like croissants and coffee, so I don't know how that's happened, and I'm stood in the rain, but hey.
I know you've timed it really. You've stood down there, bless you, for about 20 minutes waiting to come up on this platform, and the heavens have just opened.
Just opened.
But that's not bad when you're running. You want it to feel a little bit
yeah,
cooler,
nice to keep me cool.
You might get
It's
the bug,
fine.
you know, because I can see you actually being quite good at this.
I don't know. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. That'll be the tester.
You're having to get up early as well to get on the radio tomorrow morning. And you've got 2 young children. Your youngest, Tiago, is 9 months?
10 months,
10 months. So,
and believe it, he slept at my sister's last night, slept through.
Of course.
What's that
they always
about?
do. I don't believe that, by the way, when anybody says that about baby.
No,
I think they just can't
don't
hear
do it
them.
for you, they do it for your relatives.
Well, look, I'm sure you're going to have a fantastic time out there. We're going to get the brollies open, I think, in a moment. We'll let you go off and keep dry, okay?
Thank you.
And this is how the next couple of hours is going to pan out for you. The half marathon runners have already finished after an early 8:20 start, so we focus our attention on the elite races. GB Olympic hopefuls Rose Harvey and Callie Thackeray go in the women's races at 11:25. And there's GB interest in the men's. Emil Keres, who finished 3rd in the London Marathon, lines up with race favourite Benson Kipruto at 11:40. And we've got all the action from the mass runners. The orange wave starts just after the men's elite, with staggered starts after that. And we'll be hearing from some remarkable people for whom running really has changed their lives.
People who are being released from prison, same situation as me, joining these runs is to forget about everyday life.
So that's the timetable for the day. And if you're looking out for a loved one or a friend, the masses go off in about an hour's time. And if you want to send them a message, use that QR code that's on the screen now, and we will show that message over the next hour or so. And this, of course, is Olympic year. It's Paralympic year, so who better to have a chat with than Richard Whitehead, double gold medal winning Paralympian, who's already finished his work for the day.
Debbie.
Hi, Richard, how did it go? Big smile on your face. I'm taking it went well.
I normally have a smile when I'm finishing. The 13 miles before I wasn't smiling though.
No, it was a tough old run today, was it?
Yeah, it was a little bit slippy on the roads as well, and the Manchester weather came down on me around 3 or 4 miles for the last 9 miles, and it made it quite tricky, but so many great performances out on the road today, and it's great to see the crowds as well, surprisingly.
So it was a good time, but not a PB today, but you're building to something special this year.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not competing in the Paralympics this year, so decided to go back onto the road. My marathon PB, which I broke in London, 2 hours 42.01, I'm actually trying to be the first leg amputee to break 2 hours 35 minutes in Chicago in October, which would be phenomenal. And my coach Liz Yelling is behind me 100%, but I've got to do all the hard bloody work. It's tough. It's tough.
And so tell us a little bit about the kind of along the way. How many half marathons will you do? Is the training on course?
Yeah, well, I started last year at New York. Did 2:57 New York, 2:50 in Tokyo, 2:42 London. So incrementally knocking 7 minutes off every marathon. Wow. And yeah, really building that training base.
You'll be a little bit envious, I'm sure, when you see those Paralympians, people you've competed against, going off in Paris, but you'll be in the thick of it yourself, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be the other side of the fence with the microphone like I am now, painting that picture for everybody for the radio, for BBC, which I'm really thrilled about, because obviously knowing the athletes, knowing what they have to go through, but I can actually enjoy their their races and their events instead of actually doing them myself.
And not being stressed and nervous, and maybe enjoying a little bit of Parisian hospitality as well in the evening.
For sure, I do like to eat out, especially the French cuisines, for sure.
You'll still be training, I'm sure, but this is all about the power of running today. That's the theme of today. You know that only too well, and isn't it wonderful to see record numbers back out here, over 30,000 on the streets?
For sure, the power of sport. You can see it by people's faces, and even you look on the vests and T-shirts, why they're running, whether it's for the clubs themselves, for charity. They raise so much money in Manchester, and it's great to see so many people actually achieving goals that will actually set them on for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, huge fundraising expected.
And I know you've ran recently as well, haven't you?
Oh, Richard, let's not talk about it. But yeah, I did a little half. I mean, it does make me envious. I am like you. When you see them out there, I kind of want to be out and doing it.
I don't want to do fancy dress, though.
No, absolutely not. Serious kit.
It's too tough for me.
Well, the elite wheelchairs went off a little bit earlier on. Let's catch up with the highlights of that now with Andrew Cotter.
There's an early start for the men's elite wheelchair racers. Almost 3 hours ago now, 8:15, they set off. No women's elite wheelchair race here, but in the men's it was the favourite John Boy Smith, along with his training partner Mike McCabe, who broke free. You see the friendship between the two of them. They broke free and worked together for much of the race, and then you had Botello of Spain and Josh Landsman, another British athlete, also vying for 3rd and 4th place. But the victory was taken by the favourite John Boy Smith, regaining his title that he won in 2019, just ahead of Mike McCabe. And it was Botello who finished 3rd for the 4th time in 5 appearances, just winning ahead of Landsman, but John Boy Smith taking the victory just ahead of Mike McCabe. A very, very good race, and both of them in good conditions for racing. Were very happy, and very happy to speak to Jeanette Kouachi at the end.
I'm here with 1st and with 2nd position in the elite men's wheelchair race. Anna Brolly as well as it starts to come down, but Mike McCabe, well done, congratulations. A really, really tight finish, and a round of applause there from John Boy, but just walk us through that race.
It was a tough course, you know. It's my first time doing this, so I was a bit sceptical, a bit nervous. So I didn't know the course, so cornering, if it's going to rain, it's going to stay dry. Luckily the rain held off just about, but I'm very happy with today. And
really happy, and you've done some massive PBs as well this year as well, which has been fantastic for you. So this is all part of what's looking to be an incredible summer for you.
Yeah, no, just keep on showing form, keep doing races, keep doing what I just did, and hopefully carry on from here, really.
And what you just did against a tough competitor in John Boy, what a finish that was. And John Boy, how was that for you?
That was tough. It's a lot tougher than I remember. I know it's a very technical course, and just for a 10K, you expect it to be, like for us as marathon boys, like a lot of people think, oh, it's a warm-up, they do 5K just before a marathon, but it was tough. Like, ask Michael, like from mile 2 onwards, it gets very, very technical. And me and Michael, we're teammates, we're from the same club, shout out to Velocity. So we were communicating all the way, so we immediately dropped the other guys, and I said to Mike, this is going to be a 2-man race, so let's kick and see what we got.
And that's important, isn't it? Because you speak about how this race is here to show form. It's a huge summer coming up, but how important is it that you've got each other to be able to push each other along in these kind of races?
Yeah, it's moral support, if anything. Like we've got each other. Like I said, we're teammates. Mike and I know each other very, very well. So I wasn't expecting that sprint finish to be that tough. Like Mike was all over me, and I was like, well, I've really got to sort myself out here, you know what I mean? I thought I had him, and then he started to come back. I was like, Mike, give me a break. But it's always fun to have a sprint finish. It always gives that energy, that boost, you know?
Yeah, it gives the energy, gives the boost, it gives us excitement. So well done to both of you today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, as you can see, the Brollies are up. It's spitting, it's a little bit drizzly, not quite announcing an election levels of rain, but I'm sure these will be up and down as the morning goes on. Well, Jeanette Kouachi there, as you saw, is out and about. She is at the start of the 10K. We've got it all covered for you today because alongside her is the lovely Roger Johnson, and he's with the equally fabulous Adele Roberts.
Yes, Gabby, thank you. We have the Brollies up here as well, although I live and work in this part of the city, and We're tough here. I don't need a brolly. Adele, you can keep yours. Aunt Brian is here as well. You're going to have to run in this. 2 Guinness World Record holders. Adele, people will remember you got your record for the fastest marathon with a Stoma.
Yeah, that's right. It's a year ago now. Ant's much better than me. He's the new improved version. He got his record this year. But back here today, even though it's raining, it's the heart of Manchester that makes me come to this run. I love it.
And just a thought on what you did and the awareness you raised about people living with a stoma, and in your case after cancer. Have you sensed the change that you helped to put in place?
Yeah, I think so. I think that now my stoma Audrey gets more shout-outs than I do. People cheer my stoma more than me, but yeah, it's wonderful to have people be so positive, and it's made me really proud.
Ant, you had a brain tumour as a child, you had a stroke, you lost the use of the left side of your body. So tell me about your marathon journey and your Guinness World Record.
So I hold the Guinness World Record for the fastest marathon with a hemiplegia, which means I can't use the left side of my body. So when I'm running, I can only use my right side of my body. So I'm trying to inspire others with disabilities to kind of get into running and do the best I can to show others how it's done.
And in practical terms, how do you do that? You have someone who helps you?
So I have a guide runner who ran the London Marathon with me, and I literally could not have done the marathon without him. He had to do the marathon carrying a bag with spare pair of shoes and nutrition. So a massive thanks to Tyler, who ran the whole thing with me, and I wouldn't be able to get to the finish without him.
And you're going to run together today, Adele, all being well?
Well, I'm going to try. Ant's super fast, so hopefully he'll slow down and run with me. Will you be my supported runner?
we'll go for it together and we'll smash it today.
It's interesting, isn't it? Just a final thought about people running together who maybe don't normally run together. Friendships are forged.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I love about the running community. They've been so welcoming to me, especially now I have a stoma. And as Ant said, you know, there's always people there to cheer you on.
I've done so many running races before. I was the only disabled runner. So I'm hoping that by us doing what we're doing, we can get other disabled runners getting involved and getting out there. Because anyone can do it. You need to get out there and just go for it.
Thank you both very much. Wish you all the best. Ant Brian, Adele Roberts, thank you both for talking to us. The rain, I can see a bit of blue sky up there, Gabby. Manchester will not let us down. Hopefully it's not going to rain all day.
I think you're right, Roger. I can see it coming as well, but unlike you, I'm going to persevere with my brolly for just a moment. Now, in about 5 minutes' time, the elite women will be going off, and that's sure to be a fabulous race. But we're going to take a trip back to yesterday when it was the turn of the youngsters. Under sunny blue skies, it was the mini and junior Great Manchester Run, and the theme of the day, finding your superpower.
Today we're here at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester for the Junior and Mini Great Run. We're running around the track first, and then the kids get to run around the stadium. So it's amazing for them to have that experience.
It's going to be so much fun, and we get to spend time with our families.
Just a feel-good competition, yeah.
I'm a bit nervous because I want to win.
We thought we'd do it together, both this year. We decided to dress up as superheroes, matching superheroes this year, and yeah, we're going to enjoy it, aren't we?
We just thought we'd sign up, come down. It's Jasmine's first race, and yeah, hopefully first of many.
The energy and the atmosphere and the joy on the day of the races for the kids and the adults is extraordinary. It's just wonderful.
It's unbelievable to see so many kids having fun. It's a beautiful day to run, so I hope tomorrow will be like this.
It's good for the city, and they've raised so much money for their charities. I've been doing it for a lot of years, and I know what to expect. But every year, I get so excited. Then when I walk up onto my platform to do the warm-up, it's just exhilarating. I get so excited. I'm like a kid. I love it. I love it.
Keep on moving. Once you get to the keep on moving.
It was really hot at the end, so it was hard, yeah. The ending's nice.
It was very hard. Sprinting at the start and the shut up, because it took energy off me.
I've just ran around the Etihad. It was hard, but I've completed it.
We ran the race and I've got these medals.
it's just an experience that they'll never forget. You know, it's just a wonderful experience for them, and it's great for their energy and it's great for their fitness and strength.
At the start here with somebody who's starting to make a habit of these runs, Amy Fuller. Wowee. If we don't see you here, we see you in London. We might even see you in North Korea running these longer runs. And it's something that you love, and you're here today at the Manchester. And how is it for you?
It's been incredible. I've just done 13.1 miles around the incredible streets of Manchester, some fantastic landmarks. And it was really cool because it wasn't about me today. It was actually about everybody else on course. So as I was running, I was bringing the action to the digital to bring the viewers in course, so the ultimate in-course preview.
So you've got quite a few things to think about, not just how you're running, but also how you're almost broadcasting to everybody out there. How does that feel, knowing that people are watching you on the course?
You know what, Jeanette, it's actually incredible because I forget about myself. I forget about any physical pain that I may be enduring, and just hearing the stories and the background, because there's so many different types of people that have turned up today from all over the country. I caught up with a lady who was 75 years old running her 30th half marathon, and there was a gentleman with no shoes on, and everyone's got a different purpose and a different reason for being here, and just to hear those stories is really, really special, and for me, made the day.
It makes the day, but for yourself, Amy, like I say, you're making a habit of these. You love these half marathons, longer runs, 10Ks, whatever it is. You are there. How important is it for you to maintain that level of running, especially post your own sports career?
You know what? It's really incredible. I think having retired from professional snowboarding 7 years ago, now I love connecting with people and hearing their stories. But this also gives me great purpose. It gives me a challenge, and it's enabled me to stay in shape in a different way. It's totally different to snowboarding. It's something I can go out and cruise and enjoy with my mum. It's something I can put my mind to and push myself. But at the same time, today wasn't about pushing myself. It was just about being out here and enjoying the streets of Manchester.
Well, I think you've done exactly that, and you've probably inspired a lot of people to get out there as well.
Are you going to join me next time? Great North Run. We're running and we're presenting for the next.
Amy, you say this to me every year, and I just love talking to you at the end.
Come on, Jeanette. But I think it's going to start soon, right?
Yeah.
I've just finished.
Yeah.
Now that is a good feeling.
And I think I'll stay right here, but well done today.
Thanks for having me.
She's a real running Kerala, is Amy Fuller, determined to get us all out there. And of course, you can see that the positive benefits, both physically and mentally, that Amy's exuding, and so many people out here. And they're crossing the line now. They're probably coming in just under 3 hours for the half marathon, holding hands and looking relieved. I don't think they'll be holding hands when the elites go over the finish line, because it really is, in the women's race, quite a good field out there today. So to tell us a bit more about it, as they're about to go off, let's join our commentary team, Andrew Cotter and Paula Ragland.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. And, well, I just saw a little bit of sun shining. The golden hair of Gabby, because it's sunshine and showers today. Good conditions for a 10K, really, because there's not too much breeze. And as Gabby mentioned, this is a high quality field. We'll see the men go off later, but here for the women, a lot of it is Paula, marathon runners dropping down, seeing where they are in a big year.
Yeah, and I think at this stage in the season, it's a really great distance for people to either move slightly up before they go down onto the track, shorter races, or to come down if they've been in a marathon training block and trying to bounce back from spring marathon. So we've got a mix in here. We've got people getting ready for that marathon in Paris, people still vying for selection, and 10K runners.
So we're at the finish at Deansgate, and the start is not too far away, just a little bit closer to the exact city centre and on Portland Street. And so we'll introduce you to the major contenders, as we expect them to be in the women's 10K. We mentioned that it's sort of marathon runners dropping down. Running 10K is always good to just see where you are in speed and sharpness. And Callie Hauger Thackeray, as she is now, the 31-year-old from Sheffield, you see her standing on the right-hand side there. And she really has found her distance in the marathon. That's what she'll run at the Olympic Games in Paris, ran the 10,000 metres at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. You see, she won the Trafford 10K this year, which is just a couple of months ago. It's a very fast 10K. I think of British winners of this in the past: Joe Davey, Helen Clitheroe, Eilish McColgan. But this might be the favourite here, Bessie Saina, running for the USA now, 35 years old, former Kenyan athlete, but has competed for the USA since 2021. fifth in the great final, the 10,000 metres in Rio in 2016, close to going below 30 minutes. We'll see how she gets on here today, but major opposition for her in Kataita Gebrselassie, the world marathon champion from Eugene a couple of years ago, then silver last year behind another Ethiopian, Amani Bariso, who we'll meet in just a moment. So two very, very good Ethiopian athletes here. There is Bariso, world champion, last year ahead of Gebrselassie. So she has been chosen for the Olympics by Ethiopia. I mean, a marathon personal best of 2:14.58 a couple of years ago, which is obviously high level. And the other group of elite athletes behind, we'll maybe get a chance to tell you about some of them. But those four that we've introduced, you would expect to be heading the way. And so they all start their watches as the gun goes, and a bit of sunshine coming down here in Manchester as the 10K begins. It's a nice start for the 10K here, this route, and we'll tell you about that in just a moment as well, and take you down the route. But it is a sort of downhill start, really. The first 2K is slightly downhill, so you can get, it's a flying start, and you can see those four athletes already, a bit of a gap opening up there, Paula.
Yes, and in the past we've seen some really quick opening kilometres and then building into the race. It is a course where you can run fast in the first half and kind of hang on. It does certainly get tougher, but it's not got any big inclines, and certainly, as you said, today is quite still, so there's not really any sections where that would make it tough. And I think undoubtedly these women will have kept abreast of maybe what happened last night with the new 10K world record on the track, 10,000 metres, sorry, on the track in Eugene, and that will be also inspiring them just to get out and show form and just see if they can take advantage of these reasonable conditions and get a good time in the books.
I mean, we introduced you to those four athletes for a reason. Look at that gap that's already opened up there. I'm interested in seeing how Kali Hauger-Thackeray gets on here, because you've got those two. You've got the two Ethiopians out in front in Gebrselassie and Bariso, and then there's that little gap back already to Betsy Saina. But of course you don't want to become detached. Now, does Kali Hauger-Thackeray mention that she's a marathon runner now? So she'll have a pace in mind, Paula, won't she? And you've got to sort of be disciplined and stick to that, but you don't want to become isolated and running on your own either.
No, you have to run your race and you have to race the other people in the race. I guess where it gets tough here is she will undoubtedly know of Bariso and of Gebrselassie and of their records. She'll look on paper at their 10K times and she'll think, okay, I've got that. My time is actually ranking up there above them, but because they don't race competitively enough over this distance. So yes, she has to gauge it right and kind of get her head around the fact that she needs to commit to racing here, believe in herself, and I think believe in her strength as well, which is getting stronger and stronger as she grows into the marathon distance.
There we are, the sun continues to shine. Now, what were we concerned about? I always want to see that, talk about the new shoes and how quick they are. Actually, when I watch them going around that corner there in the wet, that's the one thing that they do not do as well as older shoes, if you like, because they're a little bit raised up and they're slightly sort of narrower in the beam as well, and I wonder the grip is not quite there either. And we're looking at some of the other runners. Interesting watching Rose Harvey there, you see in the orange vest. What a story she has, Paul, of someone who was a casual runner, a recreational runner, and then lost her job as a corporate lawyer during COVID, and started training just because that's what people were doing during COVID, and actually got quicker without her really realizing it until she ran some really good times of the marathon, got down to 2:30 and much lower than that now, and suddenly she's off to the Olympics as well.
Yeah, it's a great example of the fact that it's never really too late to start running. You might have a limited number of years at the very top, but when you start those, it's fairly flexible, and it really is all about, particularly the marathon, it is about making sure that you get the preparation in and you get the work done, and when you get that backed up consistently, the results start to come through.
So again, there's the two Ethiopian athletes there in Gebrselassie and Bariso side by side, and a 5 meter gap or so back to Betsy Saina and to Kali Hauger-Thackeray. First kilometre in 3:01. I mean, it's a lovely distance, 10K, to work in kilometres, and Paula will, as a true runner, will work in miles as well. She'll convert that for you as well as we go through the 6.4 miles or so, but it's nice to work in K, so 3:01.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me for the mile split, the equivalent of 3:01. 3:13 is 5:09s, but 3:01 is decent pace. I mean, it's just outside a 30-minute pace, so if they keep that up through, they will be running very close to 30 minutes, and given that they might yet even pick up further into this race, certainly when they're working together as they are, and it's encouraging to see Kali just having the if we can see when to go around the buildings and look down. She has just had the confidence and the courage to move ahead of Betsy Sainer, who we were thinking might be somebody who would really figure in this race, because on paper she is the quicker. But as I say, I think the likes of Brisa and Gebrselassie, they've got to prove form as well. They are named in Goitom Gebrselassie is named as the reserve, but that team is not yet set in stone for the Ethiopian team for the marathon in Paris, and Bariso absolutely has to keep cemented her position on that team for the moment, because they will move that around if they need to ensure that the 3 strongest women go to Paris. And at the moment, Callie is not afraid to mix it with them.
And you can see by the body angle and the cadence as well, you can see that they're running slightly downhill, and that will change after about 2k, 2.3k or so as they go out in the dual carriageway, the Chester Road, towards Trafford Park and Old Trafford and everything that lies out there. But again, these are almost ideal conditions at the moment. Again, not too much of a breeze today, because it does become quite an exposed course. You can see the dual carriageway, and those who are trundling home in the half marathon, well, let's take you down the course and tell you exactly about it. It starts, as mentioned, in Portland Street, not too far from Deansgate here, where the finish line is. So then they make it onto the dual carriageway there where they are, and then it's all the way out to the southwest along the Bridgewater Canal there, you can see, in the River Irwell, which turns into the Manchester Ship Canal. And then they head out, there we are, Old Trafford, about the 4k mark, and just the other side of Salford Quays there is Media City, and they run past the ITV studios, the Coronation Street studios, and the Imperial War Museum North. A little bit of a kink and back onto the dual carriageway, and then all the way back home. It's reasonably flat, as I mentioned, just slightly downhill to start, so of course slightly uphill at the finish. So it can be a bit of hard graft, in particular for the wheelchair racers we saw earlier today. It's a hard finish for them, but for the runners finishing there on Deansgate, and it does finish slightly lower than the start point, so there is that benefit. So there we are. It's now Betsy Sainer's just been dropped a little bit, say about a gap of 10 metres or so, and so Callie Thackeray trying to hang on to the back of the 2 Ethiopians, Gebrselassie and Bariso at the moment. Just to tell you about the calibre of Callie Hauger Thackeray, the 31-year-old from Sheffield, Hallamshire Harriers. Her father, Carl, there she is in 3rd place, was a very, very good runner, world half marathon bronze medalist. But Callie is now, as mentioned, running her best at the marathon. I think she was reluctant to do it. I think most runners are, because of the suffering. But she, Paul, has found out that what she is very good at, she has a great engine, she has a great physiology for it, and she has a great aptitude for the suffering which you need to do in the marathon.
Definitely, you need to have a high pain threshold and a high ability to maintain concentration. I think she basically said after her first marathon that she had no idea how much she was going to love it and feel at home, and I think that was evident in how quickly she ran and how you see her now growing in confidence, because here today they've gone through 2 kilometres in 6:03, so she's running substantially into unknown territory over the 10k distance, and her personal best already revised this year on that very fast course in Trafford. If she maintains that, will get significantly rewritten.
There's another Hallamshire Harrier at the front of that second group there, Lauren McNeil. Buxton Bullet, it says. And the notes, there we are. So from Buxton in Derbyshire, and just ahead of Rose Harvey, and Lily Partridge there as well. Birchfield Harrier with a great pedigree. And it's a good group of 4 actually to be working. This is exactly what you want, just a nice group, and you know that they're working at their own pace and the correct pace, and that's why Callie Thackeray at the moment has just, well, I thought she'd dropped off the back. When we go back to the front, we'll see that she's actually regained contact with the top 2, so she's just sort of going backwards and forwards and wondering if she can stay with the top 2, whereas this 4 have a great opportunity to work together.
They do, although at the moment, it has to be said, it seems that Lauren McNeil is the one doing all of the work for this group and has done for a consistent period of the race so far, and she will be hoping that maybe they can work together and they can key off each other. But certainly the fact that they are a group of 4 really, really helps, and that's the danger of the committing to go with the pace from the beginning, with the likes of Callie, and certainly now for Betsy Sainer, who is down the road behind already. You could probably say not having a great day, because she's become detached from that group so early in the race, and will become in the sights of that chasing group of 4.
Yes, just as we look at the top 2, top 3 at the moment, the one athlete in that second group of 4 that we didn't mention there was Clara Evans from Pontypridd, the Welsh marathon record holder, so another high quality athlete. So it's not awkward for Callie Hauger-Thackeray, but you can see the gap that starts to open again to Gabriel Selassie and Bariso. And this is where we talk about the discipline, and you have to know how you're running and how you're feeling, because you do so much running to a certain pace. You know what the pace is, but when you've got those two vests in front of you, you can easily get dragged into a pace that is just a couple of seconds per kilometre quicker than you're used to. Doesn't sound like much, but it's enough.
It will make it painful further on, that is without a doubt, but I think the advantage for Callie is that she now has that marathon strength in her legs, so yes, she will pay for going with this early pace, but can she handle that and still hold it together? She's the one who has to make that judgment, and it is slowing slightly. That is through 3K there in 9:07, so they've scaled it back a little bit to around about the 3:04, 3:05 pace, which is certainly within her wheelhouse, and she will be able to cope with that, and she has to now maintain concentration, and they will probably continue to move ahead of her, but she is significantly ahead of Betsy Saina as we're looking back in this shot, and just behind in the background, just going through the traffic lights out of shot slightly, is that chasing group of four, which includes Clara Evans, Lily Partridge, Laura McNeil and Rose Harvey.
Yeah, Betsy Saina is in an unfortunate position here, because when you're absolutely on your own, it just becomes that much harder. Again, there's not too much wind to shelter from at the moment, but it's so much easier. It is easier when you have people around you, just providing a little bit of a draft, but also providing that pacing. There we are, nearing Old Trafford, which may be nearing the end of its shelf life, and with plans for redevelopment of it, perhaps building an entirely new stadium, just costing $2 billion or so. Jim Ratcliffe and his grand plans. Grand day yesterday for Manchester United. So the other half of Manchester, although as we see Callie Hauger-Thackeray being dropped, I know there's a plan for Manchester City having their parade for winning the Premier League to finish here at Deansgate, just about where we are, later on today. So a busy day in Manchester.
Should have just had them run the 10K, shouldn't they?
Should have. No, they're all fast twitch flyers, and they would have struggled against these runners here. But so still, Bariso and Gabriel Selassie out in front and working together well. Who would be an Ethiopian or Kenyan selector? We were talking about that last night when watching events in Eugene as well. Some great racing at the Diamond League, the pre-meeting in Eugene, and we'll get a chance to talk about some of the performances there. But that gap again, that's Callie Thackeray is going to see, she's on her own now effectively. Just the vests starting to just ebb away from her in front, but again running her own race.
Yeah, she just needs to maintain her own rhythm now and stick to her own pace and really have that confidence and that belief that she can hold on. As I said, it will hurt, but she's on for a significantly big PB if she can hold it together. And the two ahead of her, Bariso and Gabriel Selassie, they know all about racing each other, and this is a little bit going back to a rerun of the World Champs in Budapest last year, where we saw a breakaway at 37K that was very, very nearly reeled in by the closing finish, but just about judged to perfection. And as I said, the backstory behind all of that is making sure that they try and clinch that certain start line for the Ethiopian team in Paris.
Just looking further down, some of the names that are registering on our computer. Mary McLennan, she had a great London Marathon, didn't she? She's 12th at the moment. But at the front, it may well develop into that battle between Gabriel Selassie and Bariso, the two Ethiopians. Callie Hauger-Thackeray just having to let them go, but again, still running very, very strongly indeed. And those two behind her are not involved in the race. So, well, they might be, actually, I don't know.
They could be. They might have given her a head start. They're just encouragement along the way. Behind her, just looking at the computer quickly, Callie does have about a 21 second lead over Betsy Saina.
So the women off and running and getting deeper, getting up to the halfway mark. And we will get ready for the start of the men's race.
AJ Bell, Great Manchester Run, elite men's race.
So again, we have a sort of mixture of marathon runners dropping down, and then the likes of Jack Rayner here, the Australian. He's more a 5-10K guy. There's the famous Tash, pretty well known Tash, the 28-year-old from Melbourne. ran a 10,000 metres in 27:09 in California in March to set the oceanic record. And next up, a man who's becoming ever more familiar to British viewers, Emile Kerès, man from Bradford, Britain's top marathon man at the moment, second quickest of all time behind Mo Farah. He'll be running the marathon in Paris, and again a chance to see what he can do over this distance.
Please welcome your current.
Now, Bashir Abdi, bronze medalist in the marathon at the Olympics in Tokyo and the World Championships in Eugene the following year. Long-time training partner of Mo Farah, coming back from a stress fracture in his lower back, his first race really. Selected by Belgium